they understand that?
I think it can. You just have to press. Okay, so we're doing the pizza dough, keto pizza dough recipe. So in here we have the butter. We doubled the recipe, so we have 10 tablespoons? 10 tablespoons of butter in here. It calls for 5, but we did 2 times the recipe. So there's 10 tablespoons of butter in here, and then we have 12 ounces of the mozzarella cheese on the stove right now. So we're gonna mix this with the cheese until it gets melted, and then once we're done with that, we're gonna add our almond flour, our coconut flour, baking powder, garlic powder, and salt, and eggs.
What's the cheese and how much?
So the cheese, we have 12 ounces of cheese on the stove. And okay, so here we have the cheese on the stove. There's 12 ounces in here. And then we're just going to mix the butter in with it. We're just going to put all the butter in there. And then, again, this is 10 tablespoons. And we're just going to get all of it. And then we're going to put it on low heat. So we'll turn... Did I put on the wrong one? Okay, no. So we'll do low heat. And then we're just going to let this melt until it's all melted together and we can stir it.
Okay.
Alright, so as you can see, it's starting to melt, get nice and good together. So we want this to be completely melted and able to stir it. And then once it's done with that, then we'll be able to add our almond flour and everything. So now I think it's pretty much done. And we're going to move it over so we can add our flour and baking powder and everything. Now we're going to go ahead and add everything together. So here we have our coconut flour. This is half a cup.
Okay.
And then we have almond flour, which is, I think, a whole 1 cup.
And then notice it is the lighter color. I mean, a little darker than the coconut, but it's not the, it's kind of like the blanched, or it's actually gluten-free almond flour. We got it from Albertsons.
And then we have our teaspoons of baking powder. We're going to do 4 because, again, we doubled the recipe, so it calls for 2, but we're going to do 4. 2.
And this makes it rise.
3.
Rise. Lovely.
4. And then we have 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. We kind of are going to have to like eyeball it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So a teaspoon. And then half a teaspoon of salt. Was it half?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's okay.
Okay, half teaspoon of salt, and then...
What was that, like a quarter?
Yeah, it called for 1/4 of it.
Oh, okay.
So we did a half.
Oh, okay.
And then we're going to add the 2 eggs, 2 large eggs.
You can crack it in here first if you want.
Okay.
Or in the bowl or something.
Okay.
That way you can make sure there's not something wrong with it. I always like to do that.
Right.
That way, if there's something wrong with it, we don't mess up the whole thing, huh?
Right. That's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
So there goes 1 egg. And
And we're using white eggs today. I do use my brown eggs most of the time, but this time we just got the white eggs. The brown eggs were an arm and a leg, so. But next time, we always look for the sale for them. Albertsons, it's pretty expensive for eggs. Sometimes they have a good sale, though. Last time they did.
Right. So now we're just mixing everything together. And
This is your dough?
yeah, this is going to be the dough of the pizza. So we're just going to mix it all together. Kind of smells like pretzels.
Is it?
Uh-huh,
This is keto.
This
Okay.
is looking really delicious already.
Mm-hmm.
And the dough, you can see it's already forming. It's already looking really good.
Yeah.
So you're just going to mix it together really well. And then when it's done, You should be able to take it out and put it on your parchment paper and knead it some more.